Hey guys, Zilda here from I Love Doing All Things Crafty, and today I want to share with you how easy it is to make stamp cutouts or digi-stamps using stamp sets that you may already have and don't have dies for. So here's the easiest way I find to do it. So you know that plastic backing that comes with the stamp sheet? All I did was take some double-sided tape, and I'm just going to bring in my stamping tool and let's see, just place it in the center there. And then I'm just going to close the lid and hopefully that'll pick it up. Perfect. Now I just got a piece of paper that I'm just going to line up with the bottom corner. Normally you use your magnets for this, but the magnets will get in the way if I stamp with them. So then I'm just going to take some of my Memento Tuxedo Black ink. This is perfect for alcohol dye markers or alcohol markers. Perfect for blending and shading. And then I'm just going to stamp the image. Hopefully that paper hasn't moved. There we go. And just give it a really good push. Now just lift that. That's a pretty good impression, but I'm just going to do it one more time just to darken everything up. The darker your impression is, the better cut you'll get when you send it through into the Silhouette software. There we go. Okay, hopefully that hasn't moved. The next thing you'll want to do is bring out your PixScan mat. And this has some registration lines that will help your software detect exactly the position and where the images need to be cut. So I'm just going to put it in the corner here. And you can put another image on this side and just scan it as well, but I find it's easier if you just do half of the PixScan mat, just because if you do a larger image, your computer will have to then stitch the files together, and I just find it's way easier just to do it on one side of the mat. So for this next step, I'm going to load my image into my scan machine, and then I'm going to turn the camera around, and you can watch me as I edit the design in my software studio, and I'll show you exactly step by step how you get a nice trace and a perfect cutout. Alright, hopefully you can see my screen well. So all you have to do once your studio software is open is click on this PixScan image here and open it up, and you should get a screen like this one. The next thing you'll want to do is go to the right hand side here and import from scanner, and I've got my scanner loaded with my images already, so I'm gonna select, I think it's, I want to say it's this one, and then I'm gonna press import from scanner, and it's going to take a few seconds and the screen will pop up, and since it's a black and white picture, I'm just going to click on this one and scan, and then it'll just take a couple of seconds for it to import into your studio software. Alright, it's just scanning the image now, and it's transferring the data. Let's see. And it's just loading the image now. There you go. It's as easy as that. Now, the only thing you have to do is trace your image. So to trace your image, you're going to want to press the trace option and select trace area. And I'm just going to highlight this area, and I'm just going to zoom in little bit here so we can see the images a little bit crisper. And really, if you wanted to cut exactly around the edge of the image, all you have to do is trace right now. But I'm just gonna clean it up a little bit, make it darker, and I'm gonna click on trace the outer edge. So to see exactly what I traced, I'm just gonna pick up the image and drag it over, and as you can see there's a lot of little bits that must be pieces of lint or whatever it was that the scanner picked up. So I'm just going to undo that, and then I'm just gonna release compound path and clean up all this image. So right click on the image, release compound path, and don't worry, you saw all these little things, don't worry too much about that. I'll show you how to fix that. So okay, now you're gonna go in and drag your highlighting tool and just pick up all that extra stuff. All right, then you go back and group it all again, group. So what I'm gonna do is create a copy and paste, and then just work on this image over here. Just in case you screw up, you always have the original copy here. So at this point you could be done because you got a nice cut all around the dog, or both dogs, and you got a nice trace of the paw, the bow, but as you can see the words are pretty bad, so if you cut this out your paper is just going to tear to pieces. So what you're going to want to do is, if you did want a shadow of these images so that you have a nice little trim edge around each shape, is you're going to want to create an offset. So here I'm just going to create an offset by clicking the offset button, and I'm just going to bring down the size. I'm going to try, let's see what it looks like at 0.05 here, and apply. And so that gives you a nice border all around your edge here. So what you're going to want to do then is move that guy over. And this is what I would actually use to cut out. But as you can see, there's still a few little dots there that were offset. That must have been a little speckle of dust or a little bit of ink. And I'll just go and clean that image up a little bit. So I'm just going to go over here to the offset image and delete things that I don't think I'd like. So right here, you can see this image has this little cutout, which would be right there for the positively, positive fabulous, and I don't want my image to cut out right there. So I'm going to release compound path. I'm going to take out these little two areas here, and anything else that I feel that would just be horrible to cut out, I'll just delete it. This one is kind of a little tricky because it's so small that I can actually just create another offset of that one. I will just do a 0.02, oops, and see what that one looks like, and that's a little bit better, so I will delete the inner one. I'm just going to move that to the side, and even this one and this one. I'll just create another offset. That way it's leaving your words together. Here's another one. Oops. And I'm just using a 0.7, I guess, offset here. But you can play with it and get it as big as you like. All right. So these are going to be the cutouts that I'm going to use. I'm going to save some of these if I wanted to do the exact trace for, let's say, some masking. This would be the perfect way to do it. So you would use masking paper and use these images to cut out of masking paper, and then you can stamp around it and you get a nice clean edge around the images that you just stamped. So all that's left to do is save your file, and I'm going to delete, or actually first ungroup and delete some of these actually files here that I won't ever be cutting out. And there you go. Oops. Cut. And I'll delete these pieces too. And there you go. These would be used for masking and these would be for stamping. So I'm going to go ahead and save this file, and then I will send it to my machine and cut it out so you can see exactly what it did. Okay, just one more thing before I send it to cut out. I'm just going to want to group these images together. And then I'm going to move this original image over and bring this and center it as best as possible over the stamped images, because this is exactly what your machine will read, and it'll cut out around the edge. So I just want to make sure it's lined up nicely. Oops. There you go. So once I save it, I can come back to the computer and cut out on just regular white cardstock, and then I'll always have a traced cutout or a digi cutout that I can stamp on. Now I'm going to go ahead and save these images, and this is perfect for if I wanted to create more of these cards in the future. I already have these images offset, so all I have to do is cut, and I'll just show you here. If I wanted to do any masking type techniques, I would have this image as well. So I'm just going to go ahead and save them under Positively Fabulous Stamp Set, and then I can refer to them in the future if I needed to. All right, I hope you can see this okay. I'm just going to go ahead and load my mat. Before I do, I'm just going to add some Inka Dinka Do stamping mask paper to the other side of the mat, and this way I can take advantage of those masked images that I created, and then I'll have it for masking if I need to use it in the future. So go ahead and load your mat, and I'm just going to close the cover. Sorry about the reflection here, and send to the machine. So now it's just registering it. So now that my machine is done cutting out, I'm just going to unload my images here. Alright, sorry about that. And I'm just going to show you how close we got to the edge. If it did a good job, then we should have a nice trace all around the dog. There we go. So much easier than fussy cutting. And on this right hand side, I use the masking paper. It's pretty thin paper, so it cut a little bit, but overall I'm pretty happy with the results. I could use this for masking over and over again if I wanted to create a whole bunch of dogs and just keep masking with the same images. So if you're wondering why I just use this box top to just elevate my mat while it cuts, just to ensure that it wasn't going to have a bad cut. I just do that, but you don't have to. I'm just going to lift up the images off my mat, and then I'll give you a closer look at just what it looks like. So here it is, beautiful. So don't get rid of this negative image, should be like that. What I'm going to do is store it with my stamp set, and then later on when I want to stamp some, I'm just going to cut up a whole bunch of digi-cuts, and I'm just going to use, oh, here I was starting on another card. Just move that over, but I'll just show you. This was Florette Bloom's idea, and or at least I hadn't seen it anywhere else, but what she does is takes the stamp itself, and then she would lay out, let's say, a cutout that you would have. I just don't have one handy, but if I took my stamped or my masked one, it would fit exactly in there, and then all you need to do is lay that perfectly in the center of the image, and then just pick it up, and then if you had some paper there, it would stamp exactly in that area, and then you would have a couple more images for you to design a card. So I hope you've enjoyed today's tutorial on using any stamp set and creating your own digital cutout files. Perfect for those cards that you want to make lots of. Use your favorite stamp sets, and then you just have to do a whole bunch of cuts, put them in a Ziploc bag like Florette Bloom demonstrated in one of her Periscope videos, and you have a whole bunch that you can use over and over again, and you'll never run out. No more fussy cutting. This is so much fun and easy to do. It takes a little bit of work initially, but it will pay off in the end. Thanks for stopping by. Happy crafting!